share one, right.
Just sometimes he'll volunteer a little information.
Right,
you know, and
right.
so he's kinda-
Yeah, it's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've known people that have had MS for a long time.
Well, they said that she could live for, I mean, it's not that she's gonna die tomorrow, but
Yeah.
she could live for a long, long time. But Matt knows he's really got a real road ahead of him.
It's tough.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
You want to retire it?
I mean, he goes home and does the laundry a lot of times, and she, and everything else, you know.
Yeah.
And they got somebody that comes in and cleans, and so he's got, you know, goes to a girl now, in college, and the boy's only got one more year. He'll be a senior this year,
Jeez.
so,
Time flies.
and that's the truth. You know, when I call over there, I always ask for the big boy. They all know that's the big girl. Is the big girl there? Oh, you'll be the big girl. That's the big boy. And she's on the phone. Answers the phone. It's on there. The big boy there? She knows who it is.
I remember when that circulating pump went out in my furnace, and the crowd, you know, he looks at it like that, and we laughed and laughed, you know. Now he's gonna be a senior in high school.
Okay, senior in high school.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I will call this meeting of the Waushara County Planning and Zoning Committee to order. This meeting will begin with a public hearing. Anyone other than the applicant or the representative wishing to speak must register and submit a registration slip to myself or the secretary. Following the hearing, we will conduct a meeting at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave. The applicant and town board will be contacted about tonight's decision. Any other person wishing to receive a copy of any decision can sign a sheet at the front of the room. Those of you wishing immediate knowledge of the outcome of these proceedings may call the county zoning office tomorrow morning. The procedure will follow for the hearing. After each applicant is read, the applicant, their agent, or representative will have a maximum of 10 minutes to present their application, followed by questions or comments from the committee. Then all correspondence will be read. Then others in favor will have a maximum of 5 minutes to speak. Anyone objecting then will have a maximum of 5 minutes to speak. I will then ask for staff comments. Finally, the applicant will be allowed a maximum of 5 minutes for rebuttal if they wish. Anyone wishing to speak should use the microphone, state their name, and direct their comments to the committee. If you are testifying as a nearby landowner, please tell us where your property is located. Tonight's hearing will be videotaped, and all tapes will become part of the record. Comments that are based on rumors, hearsay, or secondhand information, as well as racial or prejudicial remarks, will be ruled out of order. The committee has looked at all the properties and have recorded to reflect these observations. Any person affected by an administrative decision of this committee has 10 days from filing of tonight's decision to make an appeal. Such appeals are heard by the Board of Adjustments. Information and applications are available from the zoning office. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as to the legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of the 10-day period. I will now introduce the committee. To my far left, Joe Piaski, Larry Crawford, Mike Likeness, Terry Dopp Pockstedt, Mark Schumacher, zoning administrator, and my name is Mark Kirschner. First application tonight. Mark Crumry, Coloma, Wisconsin, has made application for a conditional use in accordance with Section 58-236, Paragraph B, Section 22, and 58-454, Paragraph 35 of the Washera County Zoning Code to establish a custom trailer business as a home-based business accessory to an existing single-family home utilizing an existing 25 by 20 building in an AG, General Agricultural 3-acre minimum. Location, an approximate 8.5-acre parcel of land known as lots 9 and 10 of certified survey map number 156, being part of a fractional southwest quarter, section 30, town 18 north, range 9 east, town of Richford, fire number W12036, Check Avenue. Is the applicant present? Would you please come forward?
My name is Justin Cromry. I am Mark Cromry's son.
Okay. We've got a few questions here for you, Mark. Committee questions?
Your application indicates that you had one employee outside the immediate family, is that correct?
That's correct. That would be me helping my father in my free time.
Can you tell us exactly what sort of work you're going to be done in the shop?
Mostly it'll be welding and grinding. Any paint or anything will take place in another facility that my father has lined up in Dakota with his uncle, Harry.
You're talking about small trailers?
Yeah, basically just small utility trailers, cargo trailers, pretty much for quads or trash removal, anything.
And basically you're just going to weld and put it together, and wiring and painting will be done somewhere else?
Correct.
Will you be delivering the products, picking up materials and bringing it back to the shop yourself?
Only enough for one trailer. There's not enough room for many materials there, so it'll pretty much just be enough material for one trailer at a time.
And you'll be bringing the materials, or your father will be delivering them, that you're not going to have like a semi-load of iron?
Correct.
come
We'll
in?
be picking them up and bringing them to the house ourselves.
Okay.
Will there be any sales or any customers coming to the site there?
No sales and no customers coming to the facility.
Planning on any advertising signs?
No advertising as well either.
Any other buildings being planned on the site?
If we need to store any, we will be using a pole barn in the back, but that will just be to hold any extra material if we need room to use the shed to build.
And will all the activities be inside and no business or products stored outside the building?
Correct.
Are you planning any changes to the driveway?
Not that I'm aware of. There's no changes to the driveway.
If approval be granted, when would the business be starting up?
As soon as my dad can get the finances available to build the first trailer.
Okay, that's all the questions I have.
When we were out there Monday, you were getting around pretty good. What happened between now and
I
then?
sprained my ankle last night at work.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you're trying to get the sympathy vote here or something.
Yeah, it might work, right?
Okay, any other committee questions? You can sit down.
Thank you.
Thank you. Correspondence?
Yes, we have a letter we received today from the town of Richford. It's dated May 10th regarding the Mark Crumry conditional use application. It says the Town of Richford Planning Commission and the Town Board has reviewed the application for a conditional use permit from Mark Crumry to establish a custom trailer business as a home-based business at W12036 Check Avenue. At this time, there are no relative concerns with this home-based business. Should you have any questions, please feel free to contact any township official or myself. And that letter is from Julia Staler, Clerk, Town of Richford. And that's all the correspondence we have on the application.
Anyone in favor or to object?
No one registered in favor or in opposition.
Staff comments?
For the record, the committee's been furnished with a copy of the site plan and the other pertinent data for this application that will be considered tonight. A couple of things that when the committee visited the property, they noted visibility is good at the driveway location. State building codes I'm not a commercial building code inspector, but in essence, what the state building codes say is that if just the applicant and their immediate family uses the building, it would not have to conform to commercial code. If there would be customers or employees that would use the building, then it would have to meet commercial code. So I think other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory. As was mentioned, there's going to be no on-site sales. Painting obviously is an OSHA concern. Harry's Auto Body in Dakota would be doing that, and that's also where the units would be for sales. So I am on the Planning Commission for the town of Richford, and I can tell you that the land use plan for the township does identify home-based businesses as something that should be encouraged. So this would fit in and be in accordance with the land use plan. So other than that, I think everything else has been considered.
Is there anything the applicant would like to add or anything? Okay. This concludes our public hearing. We only had one application here for tonight. We will now move to the room next door to conduct our business meeting and vote on the application. And you're welcome to come next door.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know exactly where it is, but it's here somewhere. Yeah, it is. Yep. Yep. You bet.
I'll call this meeting of the Waushara County Board of Adjustments to order. This meeting will be conducted in the same manner as the applications heard by the zoning committee. Anyone other than the applicant or representative wishing to speak at this hearing must have registered. Anyone who has not should do so immediately and submit the registration slip to myself or the secretary. The board has looked at all the properties and the record will reflect these observations. Following the public hearing, the board will conduct its monthly meeting, at which time we will vote on the applications. You may stay and hear how the applications are decided, or you may leave. Any person affected by an administrative decision of this board has 30 days from the filing of tonight's decision to file an appeal. Such appeals are heard by the circuit court. Information is available from the county zoning office. The county assumes no liability and makes no warranty as legality of any construction commenced prior to the expiration of this 30-day period. Now I introduce the rest of my board. To my left are John Benz, George Wilson, Jim Warwick, Wally Peterson. My name is Roger Wagner. First variance to be considered tonight, Howard and Donna Domke, Amro, Wisconsin. They made an application for variance in accordance with section 58-232, paragraph 6 of the Waushara County Zoning Code to construct a 24 by 26 single-story detached garage coming to within 3 feet of the easterly side lot line. 7.5-foot setback required in the AG, General Agricultural Zone, within the shoreland area. Location an approximate 130-foot by 330-foot parcel of land, being part of the southwest one quarter, the northwest one quarter, section 31, Town of Saxville, W4809 Aspen Court. Is the applicant present?
Hi, my name is Howard Domke, and we own the property at 4809 Aspen Court, and we're asking for a variance tonight.
Okay, Howard, anything else you'd like to tell us at this time? Otherwise, we got just a few general questions for the record.
The only reason that we're asking for the variance is if we go back, you know, there's such a drop-off there. If we go front, then we wouldn't be, you know, conforming with the center line setback and so on and so forth. That's about it.
Okay. Just a few general questions
Sure.
then for the record. Has there been a recent survey out there?
I believe 2 years ago.
Okay. The stakes are visible, or you found
Yes.
the stakes?
Yes, they are.
Okay. And you're sure of the lot lines then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's just gonna be one corner of the garage that won't meet setback, is that correct?
Right. I think there's 13 feet along the east side, the southeast corner. I think going forward on the north, going to the north, it's about 13 feet long is all.
Okay. And have you talked to the neighbors about this?
Yes, we did, and we got signatures on the application.
Okay. Be a single-story garage on a slab with a 412 pitch?
Yes, sir.
Okay. About how far above existing grade will the first floor elevation be?
Probably about 10 feet would be, you know, from the ground to over the top of the door, you know, but be
Okay.
8-foot sidewalls.
You're not gonna put a lot of fill in other
Oh,
words?
no.
Okay. Septic and the well are on the other side of the home, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And no changes to the driveway?
Nope.
And is there gonna be enough room for you to turn around without backing out onto the highway?
Yes, there will be.
Okay. And if an approval were granted, when would you start construction?
I don't know if I could. With the way the price of lumber and everything's going up, you know, it's, the sooner the better, I think, you know, but whenever you gentlemen say it's okay.
Okay. Any other committee questions?
Way down on the far side, down below the hill on the left side, is that your neighbor's tin building down there, or what is it?
Yes, it is.
That looks like it's really close to the line, isn't
It is.
it? Has that got a roof on it?
Yeah, it's a three-sided building, you know, it's open on the other side for the horses and.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
Any correspondence?
We have two letters. First of all is a letter that was written by the Domkeys to the neighbors, and it says, Mike and I would like to make this our permanent home. With this decision, we would like to put up a garage on the east side of the house. With the setbacks, we needed to apply for a variance. We hope we can get your support. Please sign our letters so that we maybe take it to the Waushara County Board. And that letter is signed by Susan and Lisa Jinks. And then we also have a letter that in support from the town of Saxville by Virginia Cartwright, the clerk for the town of Saxville. And that letter was dated May 14th, and it says, Howard and Donna Domke, Amro, Wisconsin, have made application for a variance to the Waushara County Code to construct a single-story detached garage coming to within 3 feet of the easterly side lot line, 7.5 foot required in the general agricultural zone. Location is 130 by 330 foot parcel of land, being section 31, town of Springwater. On April 19th, Mr. and Mrs. Domke presented their plan to the town board of Saxville at its regular monthly meeting. The board supported the Domke's proposal, and again, that's from Virginia Cartwright, clerk, town of Saxville. And that's all the correspondence we have.
No one registered to speak in favor or against?
Correct.
Staff comments?
For the record, the board has previously been furnished with a copy of the site plan and all the other pertinent data for this and the other application that will be considered tonight. Regarding all the variances, the applicant has to prove tonight that the zoning code is unnecessarily burdensome, that there are unique physical features or property limitations, and that an approval would not harm the public or the neighbors. Some other things to consider is there already is a permit on file. If the variance would be approved tonight, we would just have to amend that permit. When the board visited the property, they did note that the lot line and the garage location were well flagged. As the applicant said, the board also noted the steep slopes to the south and the home location, both of which limits alternate location for a garage. There is good visibility at the driveway location, and they also noted, as was brought up, the well and septic are on the other side of the house. So I think other than that, everything has been considered.
Okay. Next variance to be considered tonight, Scott and Kathleen Fleming, Appleton, Wisconsin, have made an application for variance in accordance with section 58-903, paragraph F, paragraph 4 of the Waushara County Zoning Code to construct a 14 by 24 boathouse on an existing concrete block foundation exceeding the maximum square footage allowed for boathouse construction. 180 square foot maximum allowed in the AG General Agricultural Zone within the shoreline area. Location an approximate .51 acre parcel of land known as Lot 6 of Certified Survey Map number 350 and being part of Government Lot 5 and part of the southwest one quarter, the southeast one quarter, Section 2, Town of Springwater, Pine Lake, W5452 Bradley Road. Is the applicant present? Would you state your name for the record, please?
I'm Scott Fleming.
Okay, Scott. Anything further to add at this time?
Well, I just wanted to explain my project a little bit. If you're out at the site, you saw I'm going to have an existing foundation that was from a boathouse probably built in the 30s based on some of the scratchings on the restroom door there. But the existing structure is going to be relocated this summer back behind the 75-foot setback line, and I'd like to return the foundation back into a boathouse. I know it's larger than what's allowed, but I'd like the board to consider that it does meet all the other setback requirements. A couple of other things that I think are positive aspects is it's well behind the normal setback requirement that is allowed by a boathouse, so we're 35 feet back from the high water mark, and we're about 4 feet above the high water mark. So I think that helps as far as any kind of potential water quality issues or runoff toward the lake. So I think that's really positive. And not demoing or knocking down that and then re-excavating, I think, is another positive thing. If we don't do that, that eliminates the land disturbance and runoff associated with that. So I'd be able to put after the existing structure is relocated, I'd be able to just put a pitched roof on it and with minimal disturbances.
Okay. Just a few general questions for the record then. Has there been a recent survey out there?
There was right after the purchase last spring by Martinson and Isley.
Okay. So basically, you're just going to use the foundation from the old cottage and convert it to a boathouse with a pitched roof?
That's the plan, yes.
Okay. And you're sure of the lot lines and the ordinary high water mark?
Yes.
Okay.
Based on the survey, I'm confident that what I've stated there is correct.
Okay. No earthwork or excavation near the water?
No.
Okay. And it's going to be a pitched roof. Approximately what would the finished height of the building be?
I calculated it's about 13 feet.
All other required setbacks will be met?
That's correct.
And the building is just going to be used for storage?
That's correct.
Okay. And when do you anticipate this work being started or completed?
I would think it would be completed in the later summer. The first step is the relocation of the existing structure. I'm on a house mover schedule to do that in June. Right now I've got a land use permit application and a building permit application into zoning for the foundation for the structure. So if everything falls into place, I would think the boathouse would come after that and it would be later summer.
Okay. Any other committee questions?
So evidently that was the boathouse when it was a public beach for the campsite, correct?
Yeah, that's what some people say. You can
Okay.
kind of, the campground that was there.
Right. So that new, when you're going to build a new foundation
Yes,
for the top part, right?
yes.
So that's going to be a poured basement kind of
It's going to be a poured basement. Over about 3/4 of it, there still is going to be a screen porch that will it'll be on piers, so you just get drainage
So
for any rain.
It'll be 75 feet back from the...
Yeah, actually, what's on the site plan is about 85 feet back.
You're going to move that back with, or are you going to lift it with a crane or something?
Well, actually, the way the house mover explained it, he thinks it weighs about 20,000 pounds, and they actually set like rails up on cribbing, And if you've ever seen like crane rails and trolleys that go on that, from what they explained, they got something like that that runs on top,
Oh, okay.
big platforms, and they basically slide it back on rails. So it's not a
Right,
crane.
right.
Actually, what relocates it is, he said he'd pull it with a bobcat, a big bobcat.
Yeah, it's kind of an engineering deal.
Yeah.
I know, over on Long Lake, a number of years ago, they had the same kind of situation, and they actually lifted it off with a crane and deposited it on a new
Oh,
foundation.
really?
Yeah, that was kind of neat to watch that.
But,
So, yeah, it looks like you got it covered. Okay.
Scott, do you have a contractor lined up to do the work on the boathouse, or is that something you're going to do yourself?
The,
or-
well, the contractor, the framing, you know, I'm a carpenter by hobby, so the finish work I was planning to do. All the framing and the additional framing that'd be required to get everything tied in, I would use the same contractor, which was Hamilton Homes on
Okay.
the original permit.
Was part of the screen porch that's existing there now, was part of that base gonna be gone? Were you gonna cut off any of that, screen porch?
That, well, where those piers are, you know, that's something that, I almost am thinking of that. How do I address that? So I've got to have somebody look at that. You know, the slab out in front is going to have to be sawed, so the concrete cutting of that, I was going to have somebody look at that.
You plan on cutting?
I want to do something there. You know, my goal is to, if you saw the, you know, I'd like to restore the shoreline. I put the rainwater retention area, and I'd like to get it back where there's no grass to mow and everything. So obviously the piers out of the ground are pretty unsightly, so I got to do something with that.
Okay. Thank you. Any correspondence?
We have one, one letter from a neighbor in favor. It's from Art Kuchsdorf at W5474 Bradley Road. And it states regarding Scott and Kathleen Fleming's request for a variance to the zoning code to build a 14 by 24 boathouse. I am in total support of this request. I am unable to attend the May 20th public hearing because of personal commitments. The work Scott has done to improve the property is eye-appealing and has no doubt increased the value of our surrounding properties. I wish I could have attended this hearing to offer my support in person, and again, that's from Art Kuchsdorf. And that's all the correspondence we have on the application.
Do we have anyone registered in favor?
No one registered in favor.
We have registered to speak in opposition, James Reddig.
I'm a neighbor to Scott. I guess I would be opposed because of the size, which is almost twice of what you're allowing. What's to say that 5 years down the road, he isn't going to make this into living quarters or sleeping quarters, especially being that there's a bathroom in there. There's toilet facilities in the facility right now. I guess that's my big opposition.
Okay. Okay, we have registered to speak in opposition, Ed.
My name is Edward Luskoviak, and I'm the next door neighbor, and I oppose building this oversized thing at 180 square feet. It's almost double the size right now. And plus there is a bathroom in there, and which I think that should be taken out. And this is almost like a new house, and if you go back in February, I think you people had something about your building, keeping it up. You want to see it?
What are you talking about? I
You
don't
had
know.
writing up in a paper here, and about bringing things up to date and everything, because that's almost like a brand new house that he's moving back. I got the paper here that I took it out of February's paper.
Well, if you want to submit it for the record, we can certainly do that.
I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, we have registered to speak in opposition. Ron?
Ron, could you spell your last name?
Kleutgen. I'm
Thank
sorry
you.
about my handwriting.
That's okay.
I live at 5672 County K, which is about not quite a mile by a road from Jim and Ed. They actually asked me to come over to their house. Boat-wise, it's about halfway around the lake.
So you're on the lake.
I'm on the lake. Yes, I am. They asked me what I went through when I had to build my house, and similar situation as Scott here. I don't know his last name. Where I had to cut my boathouse down. I had a slab that was 400 extra square feet. I had to go down there with a saw, and we sawed it away, and we cut it down to 180 square feet. I didn't understand at the time. Gentlemen, I didn't. After seeing, when Ed and Jim invited me over, and after seeing what Scott has already done, and I know he's going to be changing some of that stuff, I realize how unsightly these big buildings are on by the lake. Now, I'll tell you, gentlemen, I didn't want to have to cut my boathouse down. I'm glad now that I did, because it beautified our lake. I did it. I didn't have the access that he had to get down there. We actually had to build a road to get down there, to get the cat down there, to scoop up the 3 dump truck loads worth of concrete, and to take all the wood down that we had to take down. It was about a 600 square foot boathouse at the time. It actually was built as a cottage. And we had the nostalgia in it. It's been in my family for 60 years, and we had to actually cut everything down from 1902 was the earliest date on that. But it was the right thing to do. That's why in the paper that they submitted to you, you said you want people to build houses. You want to beautify the land. But we want to bring some of the things that we can into code. And this is one that can be done, and done fairly easy. I've experienced what he would have to do. And I think, and that's why I came here to talk for Ed and Jim, because the right thing here is to cut it down to 180 square feet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have registered only in opposition but not speak, Pat Reddig and Arlene. Thank you. Staff comments?
Give me a minute. Okay. When the board visited the property, they noted that utilizing the existing foundation from a land disturbance standpoint would make sense. It would minimize the land disturbance. It would make a bad situation better. They also noted that the use of the existing foundation would not increase impervious surfaces or runoff. A new septic and well is in place. We do have to respond to some of the concerns about the future use of the building. First of all, there is no law in Waushara County that says you cannot have a bathroom in a boathouse. We have quite a few bathrooms in boathouses. It is often a practice for people, because when they're done swimming, they like to shower off. It's also very common to have a bathroom where it's very close to the water, so rather than running up the hill to the house, they can use it. What Mr. Fleming has done, which everyone has had to do, including the one person who spoke tonight, where he had to cut down the size of his cottage from 600 feet to meet the 180 square feet, is there is an affidavit that's been signed that will be recorded with the Register of Deeds for any boathouse that goes on record and says the boathouse can only be used for storage and the use of boating equipment. It cannot be used for living purposes. So the possibility of it being converted to a home at a later date would not be possible and keep within the parameters of the zoning code. And we have had a number of situations where that has happened, and we've required the conversion back to storage. It's been an inherent problem that we've had in the county over the years. But we do have a mechanism in place that precludes the use of that structure for anything other than storage. The second thing that I wanted to say is that we have had similar requests in the past. Like everything else, like everybody in this office, no two people are the same, no two properties are the same. That's why we have a board of adjustments. If everything was cookie cutter, we could just go to a code, a piece of paper, check yes or no, and whatever the outcome is, that's what the landowner would have to do. But there are procedures in place, and that's why the Board of Adjustments is here, where they can analyze and take a look at every situation to look at the pros and cons of relaxing the dimensional requirements of the ordinance. That's what variances are for, reducing setbacks. Anytime we have a size, a height, or a setback, it's within the purview of the Board of Adjustments to analyze the existing properties and make decisions based upon the unique characteristics of the property. When Mr. Fleming and I have started talking about this project, there's obviously a lot of history involved. When we got to the point of discussing the relocation of the home, the question came up about what the existing foundation could be used for. And I told Mr. Fleming at that time that there was a variance procedure in place. There has been other properties that have been granted variances. They're considered on a case-by-case basis. And I told Mr. Fleming at the time that I would support an application like this. There was enough unique circumstances that it could be considered for an approval, and that's what I'm saying to the board tonight. The other variance applications that have been considered and approved by this board, they have looked at other mitigation items on the property, things like upgrading septic systems, restoring shorelines, anything that is used to offset the impacts of the granting of the variance. The information that was given to us tonight was an article from the Waushara Argus where I talked to the Watershed Lakes Council about the new zoning requirements. Those zoning requirements are not in place, okay? We cannot make a decision based upon proposed regulations. We're going to have a lot of applications between now and a year and a half from now when these new regulations come into effect. And there's some people that the new regulations are going to actually make development of their property easier, and in other situations it's going to make development of their properties harder. But in either case, what might be coming down the road a year and a half from now cannot have any bearing on the applications that are before the board. You are obligated to take a look at the existing properties. You're obligated to take a look at the unique characteristics and situation of each of the applications, and you're obligated to make decisions based upon the regulations that are in place, not something that's being proposed for a year and a half from now. So I just want to review my notes, and that's all the items that I wanted to bring up. I think everything else was noted, and the applicant would have a chance for a rebuttal if he would so choose to respond to some of the concerns that were expressed tonight.
Okay. That closes the public hearing for the Board of Adjustments at